Raw 11/11/24. A show that started with Gunther and Damien Priest face to face saying words to one another. The same lame build we saw between the same two participants 4 months ago leading into SummerSlam. Here we are getting it 4 months later, the same exact situation. Basically, now they have a Gunther whose character was already damaged when he shook Cody's hand and shook Randy's hand, the top baby faces. But now he's a doubting Gunther, right? He doubts himself. He doesn't know if he still has it anymore. He's questioning himself, right? So they somehow found a way to damage Gunther's character even more last night. But that's the only difference between what we saw 4 months ago and last night. Gunther's character is even more damaged. Other than that, you have the same lines being tossed out. Street trash. I'm going to beat you. No, I can beat you. 4 months after we already saw this is your build leading in the Survivor Series. That's how we started the show. When we ended the show, we had some weird debacle schmozzery with SmackDown's ladies and Raw's ladies. So you have a tag match with the Jade and Bianca. They're taking on Raquel and Liv Morgan. And when it was all said and done, you had Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, all in the ring. Everybody brawling. Add in an EO from Raw as well. And everybody's brawling. And when the show ends, Jade, Bianca, EO, and Naomi are holding their hands up high. So are we leading to are we going to have a women's War Games match? Or traditional Survivor Series matchup, maybe 5-on-5, they add in another lady. Right, does Rhea Ripley join their team? And over on, do you call it SmackDown? The heels side, you can't even call it SmackDown side. The heel side, Raquel, Liv, Nia, Tiffany, and maybe Candy LeRae, right? Because Candice aligned herself with Nia at the end of SmackDown, that title match, or that matchup with Tiffany and Nia. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't catch SmackDown, I don't blame you. But Candy LeRae kind of is offering her services, not saying that that's a special fifth person, but it looks like they're leading to something like that, a traditional or a War Games match. It doesn't even make sense. Why is all this SmackDown talent in gear, by the way? So clearly they were backstage walking by Adam Pearce. Adam said nothing. Hey, you're going to take my Raw TV time? Go ahead. Then just end the brand split. I put Naomi and Bianca, and I see the world in Jade. Still green, but I still do see the world, the presence alone in Jade Cargill. But Bianca with the utmost talent, one of the most athletic, one of the most gifted pro wrestlers, female-wise, in the world is Naomi. She has not gotten near what she has earned in this industry. So I put them on a pedestal. But watching them on Monday Night Raw, nobody's asking any questions. Nobody's like, whoa, what are they doing here? Naomi just had to be there for Jade and Bianca. But her beef is really with Candy LeRae. Candy wasn't even there. So Tiffany, Nia, Naomi, then just do the old school Raw versus SmackDown. 5-on-5, 4-on-4, whatever you need it to be. And just do it that way. Forget War Games. Just have the Survivor Series Raw versus SmackDown. That's when it was fun anyway. I remember iconic moments. That's when, like, Becky, right? The lead up to it, when Becky got her nose broke by Nia and she's all bloodied in the crowd, and she's got her SmackDown shirt supporting proudly her brand, and the blood's coming down her face, and that's how we fade to black. I mean, the old school, when the dudes would invade SmackDown, or vice versa, and the brawl was top notch. You had to see Raw versus SmackDown. That was fun. I will take that way more than War Games, which is nothing more these days than a fancy fence with the word war in it. And that's what it's become. I don't need fancy fences and cute little catchwords. You got to be captivated by this. So it looks like they're just throwing the ladies in there because there's a dudes match. But it doesn't make sense. If there's a brand split, honor it. If there's not, then get rid of it. But you can't just come and go at your own convenience because it suits you, because you're too lazy to think of a creative way or to create an explanation as to why these wrestlers are on this show. So instead, they pop up, nobody says anything. You have Joe Tessitore just act like it's business as usual. What? What do you want me to do? Naomi's on Raw. Why would I question that? Why would I go, whoa, it's Naomi. It's Tiffany. It's Nia. Why would I do that? And it happens so frequently, I guess it's just become the normal. Then just end the brand split then. Because when they cross over with a brand split, it's supposed to feel special. It should anyway. You should subconsciously even if it's only subconsciously, you should say, hey, this is big. They just came over from SmackDown. There's something big brewing. Naomi shows up and I had to think twice. Oh, wait, she's not even a part of Raw. Then again, neither is Nia and Tiff. That's how we ended the show. So we start off with something we've already seen 4 months ago. The same type of promos. Now Gunther is even more unsure of himself. That's the only difference. Other than that, street trash, I'm going to beat you. No, I'm going to beat you. And we'll go our separate ways. Damien and Gunther. That's how we start. We end the show with this weird schmozzery with the ladies. In the middle of the show, hey, if that excited you, if you're going to say Hunter Hearst Helmsley is cooking, then keep frequenting that restaurant. For BC, we're packing things up. We're going to another restaurant. Because if Hunter Hearst Helmsley is the cook, we out of here. Because not only is the food going to get burnt, the whole place is going to burn down. I am not accepting anything that Hunter Hearst Helmsley is serving right now. I'm not going to be in line with a wooden bowl and wooden spoon going, please, sir, can I have some more? No, I'm going to be returning the dish that I got. But if you didn't see the show, because I know a lot of you guys, BC, I don't watch the shows. I just watch your reviews, man. You're more entertaining than the reviews. I appreciate that. BC, I trust your word on it, man. If you're praising something and raving about something, I know I gotta watch it. And if you're ripping it apart, I know I didn't waste my time. And I appreciate you guys for trusting BC, because I will never BS you. You will always get the most amplified of truth on this channel. I assure you of that. I can do it no other way. I wouldn't do it any other way. But if you're wondering, BC, was it that bad? I mean, what was the middle of the show, BC, in this cold open teaser? Well, how about some Butch Dunne versus Kofi Kingston? Yeah. How about your Monday prime time? Monday night. And you got to stick around and watch Butch Dunne and Kofi. How about Damage Control versus PFC? I still don't even know what Pure Fruity Connection? I don't know, the PFC versus Damage Control again for the 84th time since PFC's inception. What else? I don't know. Damien versus Ludwig. Yeah, you know, it's the same played out story. You got to beat the sidekick, right? You got to beat the right hand man, and that'll get you excited to see Gunther and Damien. Did it work? We'll find out. We'll talk about it. We'll see what happened. The Wyatts got flatlined. It was so odd seeing the Wyatts already, right? They just pretty much debuted a few months ago. They were in one real story. And now they have this second one with Miz, and they're just laid out as an entire group. It was just a simplistic beating, guys. Rowan took some steel chair shots. The other ones just got beat up a little bit. Some power bombs from AOP, and they were like looking up at the lights for 615 seconds. Bo Dallas is kind of laughing like Bray would do, and Karrion's kind of distraught like, I might have to do more to keep him down. You think? You beat him up for 12 seconds, bro. We'll talk about that as well. The best parts of the show were some backstage segments where some of the wrestlers just went face to face, like Sammy trying to get Seth Rollins to be the fifth guy. That's the big storyline now in WWE because Sammy's already jumped on board to Team OG. So they kind of rushed that. So that's gone for the next 2 weeks. So now they have to just play this who's going to be the fifth guy, right? They're going up to Braun Breaker, of all people. I think Jay would have a problem with that. They're going up to Sethington. But Seth and Sammy, that was a pretty good interaction. Oddly enough, Sheamus and Braun Breaker had a pretty good backstage face-to-face. That's setting up a match for next week, which, by the way, guys, it is taped. It is taped. And if you think the live shows are soulless, lifeless, they have no juice in them. There's no substance to these shows live. The tape shows are even worse. And we've been getting them left and right. And another tape show is next week. Now, some people are trying to sell you on the idea that it's just a little bit of vacay time, right? The holidays are coming up. So this is some vacay time. This is what was being thrown around in the community anyway. Absolutely BS. I don't know of any holiday on the 18th of November, first of all. Or even that whole week. There's no holiday. The next week, the next Thursday is like Thanksgiving, I believe. And I'm hearing that might be a live Monday Night Raw, but then you would just have everybody go home after Monday Night Raw. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, everybody has several days off. So I don't know why you would need the Monday before Thanksgiving, like a week and a half before off. No, guys, this is exactly what their plan was. When they went to this new deal with USA to stay on USA for 3 extra months before they go to Netflix to cut cost, they were like, let's just do a bunch of tape shows. We could do a few while we're overseas because you can still do a delayed tape show. But they decided to do 2 shows in one night 3 times already, 4 times if you're adding in SmackDown. So this is by design. This isn't just because they're giving people days off, guys. This isn't Hunter Hearst Helmsley playing the role of Charity Charlie. This is literally by design. It's business. This is all business. There's no holiday next week. Thanksgiving is the closest. That's at the end of the month. So this is absolutely just business. It's by design. You're getting more tape shows after this, just to show you guys that. In December, there's already 4 planned, including SmackDown. So you're going to get more. So I know you want to act like this is a generosity thing, man. Oh, Hunter is so nice. Well, first of all, what are we doing? Is this... How did we get to the... You're already cutting out live events, but by the end of next year, you're going to be close to 70% of live events. 75 gone. Live events are being phased out. You talk about extra time with the family and extra days off. You're getting it. So we can't totally go into this. We can't go into a pansy realm. This is pro wrestling, man. We can't just be like, there's a holiday in 2 weeks. Can we have a day off? You know what I mean? It's like, all right, you guys are going to get this 2 weeks before the holiday. We're going to let you guys sit home. We're going to give a taped show. Again, it's business anyway, but even that mindset wouldn't make any sense. At that point, even if you had 2 hours of just promos, back and forth promos to sell storylines, right? The wrestlers don't even have to get in the ring. You just have them show up and do some promos and everybody go back home. But you can't deliver a tape show at a time where there's such a down period in pro wrestling. Hunter is producing absolute mid-AF garbage. The ratings are showing you that. As people can get pissed off all they want with this truth, but the ratings and the numbers are showing you that BC is giving you nothing but utmost truth. Now, how people decide to, or if they even can digest that truth, that's not BC's problem. But that's exactly what is happening. This is mid-level garbage. It has been for weeks, months, and basically the entire time that Hunter has taken over. With a good spot here and a bright spot there, but mostly these shows deserve the rating that they're getting. And under Vince for the last 10 years, Vince was really bad. Hunter is just confusingly bad, and I think that's why you're seeing record low numbers with World Wrestling Entertainment. But several times last night I was thinking, how do I... Utmost truth? This is several times last night. This is what I was thinking. How much longer can I keep just putting myself through these Monday night shows or Friday night shows? How much, the durability that it takes, the patience that it takes, just the psyche that it takes to endure something that you love, but you know it is so bad. It is boring. That's the problem. Not just bad, it is boring. And I'm like, and I think of my channel members. I think of my subscribers, and I'm like, you guys depend on the most honest review imaginable in this community, and I'm not about to let you down. And I'm going to keep rocking with you guys because at the end of the day, we do love this. We do want it to get better. That is the mission statement. But just sometimes you see shows like this consistently nonstop, and then you hear there's a tape show next week, so it's going to get even worse. And you're just like, dude, is it just a losing battle where this stuff is just never going to be great again? We're not asking it to be Attitude Era or Ruthless Aggression. I don't even think it could ever even hit Ruthless Aggression. Forget Attitude Era. But can it ever just be great again? You hold out that hope, and we do everything we can on this channel to tell the truth, give the facts, the statistics, the metrics, speak honestly with one another, and that way, we're doing our part trying to make it better. But truth is, there's too many cookie cutter fans out there, or people that try to do what we do here, and they just try to act like everything is rainbows and everything is awesome on the shows, and Hunter is cooking. And when you do that and you speak that BS, nothing can improve, nothing can get better. And then what happens simultaneously is people are seeing through that bullshit, and they're like, nah, you can say it's great all you want. You can say Hunter's cooking all you want. You can say these shows are so much better than what Vince was producing. You can say all that, but I'm saying deuces, oozes, and the numbers, the ratings are showing you that. This isn't it. This isn't it. So we have to be honest about it. I do my part, and last night was one of those shows where it was like how much longer can we all put ourselves through that misery? Because that's what it's becoming. When it's bad and boring, and it seems like it just won't end, these shows, that's not good. That's really bad. So BC was like, dude, I don't, if it wasn't for you guys, the support, the channel members, all of my subscribers out there, man, everybody that rocks out in these conversations, I don't know, man. Maybe I would go, you know what? Until they clean up their act, deuces, oozes, I'm done. But, we are all trying to rock this out for the betterment of pro wrestling in totality, more specifically with these shows, WWE. So BC's going to keep rocking with you guys as long as you guys are rocking with BC. But it's getting to that level where it's like, what are we doing? This is bad. This sucks. You could be doing anything else, and it would be more fun than watching this. Nothing. If you ask me, BC, 2 hours of Raw last night, what did I miss? I would tell you nothing. Nothing. The women ending the show in some weird way where it looks like they're going to blur the lines with SmackDown and Raw and do some stupid War Games Part 2 match. This one with the ladies. Or starting the night with Gunther and Damien, the same thing we saw 4 months ago with the build to SummerSlam. So why are we just doing this again? This tells me you're lazy, you don't want to get creative, and you don't care that you're giving us the same exact bullshit. That's what you're telling us. If you're Hunter Helmsley. And then all of this, again, Damage Control, PFC, Butch Dunne, Kofi. By the time Xavier and Kofi finally split ways, there's long-term storytelling, there's long, slow burns and builds, and then there's just there's nothing of substance. They're not gaining anything by the week. It's just small bickering. That's it. And then for the 10-year anniversary of the New Day show, all of a sudden one of them just goes their separate ways. At this point, it's not even fun. At this point, not even the New Day separation is not even fun. The Bloodline storyline is not even fun. For the next several weeks, we have to find out who the fifth man is. And it's going to be stupid no matter what, whether it's a Sethington Rollins or a Cody Rhodes or a Braun Breaker or a Bronson Reed. It's not going to make sense. It's going to be stupid. At this point, just none of it is fun. I feel like I am forcing myself to say that it is just so We have something to look forward to. You know, I hope that makes sense, and I know I'm not alone on this in feeling that way. Like maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's so good, and I just gotta, you know what I mean? I'm so jaded to it, I gotta take a step back and really start to enjoy it more. But no, I give it a second, third thought. I do my due diligence on the notes. I reread the notes. I go back and I watch a second or third time. I see what I missed. Maybe it is just me. No, the shit's bad. It's not good. It's boring. How about that for a cold open? What'd we go, a half an hour on that? The coffee is flowing and BC is no BSing, so you're going to get fully amplified. This is not going to take long. The cold open most likely is going to be much longer than the review itself, so let's get this going. This is Raw 11/11/24. We are going to start with Gunther and Damien face to face. Damien saying Gunther is full of doubt because he knows he can't beat him. Gunther is standing there like he is full of doubt. He's questioning himself, right? He's got that look on his face. Damien's starting to get to him. So Damien says that he's full of doubt because he knows he can't beat him. To which BC's like, he already beat you, bro. What are you doing? Just a loss to Cody, and now that's it? Like, at that point, you are grasping at straws, right? You have to think of something. So at least they're using that. But if that's going to be the nucleus to this story for the next 2.5 weeks, wow, how far we have fallen. But then again, Damien at Gunther at SummerSlam wasn't that big to BC anyway. So did we really fall that far at all? Because we were already at a pretty low-level bar that was set. At least at SummerSlam, Damien was more relevant. Now, Damien could be off a Raw. You wouldn't even realize it. You got to think twice. Oh, yeah, Damien was off the show. So Gunther is standing there like he's full of doubt as Damien goes off on him, talking about how he can beat him because you are full of doubt. Ludwig Kaiser then shows up. Ludwig starts talking about how Damien is street trash, right? So we're just recycling all the cute little catchphrases from the SummerSlam feud. Street trash. So Damien sends a right hand to Ludwig. Ludwig gets knocked on his ass. Ludwig and Gunther go up the aisleway. The heels are retreating and Damien is firing up the crowd. Yeah. So, here comes some more amplified truth for you. I mean, this is going to be an upload for the ages, guys. I never BS you anyway, and you always get amplified truth. But today, I mean, we really got to start changing things under Hunter's WWE. I mean, this is just bad. So we have to somehow be even more truthful in this upload and going forward. Guys, the truth is, full honesty, as always. Raw main event, Gunther, Damien, right? A Raw main event, cool. Damien and Gunther at Vengeance, cool. So, Raw main event, Vengeance, Backlash main event, maybe? Or Backlash PLE matchup. Great Balls of Fire, okay. In your house, yes, by the way. If you're new to pro wrestling, Great Balls of Fire was an actual event. There's a reason you never heard of another one. But that was an actual pay-per-view. But if you're at one of these little B or C level events, if you're going to throw it over at Crown Jewel, whatever, no harm, no foul, get it done with. But this is not a Survivor Series title match. It's not. It wasn't a SummerSlam title match. It just wasn't. Much respect to Damien, and I hope that one day he is that dude. But today, he is not that dude. He's not. Hogan, Warrior, Stone Cold, Rock, Taker, Cena, Damien Priest. Not feeling it. He's not. Now, you may want to say, well, BC, all of them had to start somewhere and get these matches to become that dude. It doesn't happen overnight. Negative, first of all. I was around for all of those eras. What are you talking about? Every single time that a Hogan or a Warrior or a Stone Cold or a Rock or a Taker or a Cena, every single time they were in one of these type of matchups, they were already that dude or well on their way. The feeling was there. All of them. When they were getting these SummerSlam main events, title match, Survivor Series, all of those names I just mentioned, you already had that feeling. I just said, for a lot of fans, Damien could be off of a Raw. You wouldn't really think about it at first, right? Maybe if you're in discussions and you start thinking about, oh yeah, wait, Damien wasn't even there, was he? There's a reason for that. He's not that dude right now. He's one of the nicest dudes in the whole industry. One of the coolest dudes. I want the best for that dude. There is untapped potential in Damien. That's the good news. It's not there right now. It's not. That feeling is not there. And multiple title matches within 4 months of one another. Stop. But that's what we're getting for Survivor Series, man. And if you're going to make it interesting this time, if you're going to try some new creativity implemented in it, cool. Let's see what you got the second time around. You're going to have to elevate it because we already saw all this. And this is what I mean. This is how they insult your intelligence and throw you BS and hope that you accept it and ask for seconds. Because Hunter just gave you the same exact crap that we saw the first time around 4 months ago leading in the SummerSlam between these two. It's the same thing. The only difference is that Gunther is now unsure of himself. They somehow made Gunther, not only is he shaking everybody's hand, all the faces after his matches lately, Randy, Cody, and who knows who's next, but now they're making him he doesn't even have confidence. He's shook. The one thing that made Gunther epic, right, is he always stands there and, hey, win or lose, he's going to shake your hand is what they're telling you. Wow, that's a diabolical heel. He'll say your whole family are failures like he told Randy, and then he'll shake your hand. Well, if that's not misconstruing what he is and confusing your audience, I don't know what is. And that's why if you guys go back, you want to talk about no BS, you want to talk about a channel that does not BS you, I will tell you to go back, check out the beginning of Raw. When the music stops for Gunther, the whole crowd is silent. It becomes so awkward that they feel like they have to start making some noise. Listen, the first 3 to 5 seconds, it's silence when Gunther's music stops. They don't know what to think of this dude. Because they have damaged his character. Is he a diabolical heel, or is he just a friendly face who says mean things? So when the music stops, nobody was on their feet. Nobody was nobody was hiccuping. Nothing. You could have heard a pin drop. After about 3 to 5 seconds, the awkward silence is getting to people, and then they start some are booing, some are cheering, some are just yelling popcorn. I don't know. That's what happened last night. It was sad. It was absolutely sad. Gunther is now just like this unsure, friendly, but trash-talking average pro wrestler right now. That's right, I'm calling it. He should feel much more special than he does right now. That's your Survivor Series title match. That's your build. That's your big segment last night. First matchup of the night. Damage Control versus PFC. Pure Fruity Connection. Damage Control defeats PFC, first of all. EO pins Baszler via over the moonsault. This is what I mean about inconsistency. Do you guys remember several months ago when Damage Control were heels and this new heel group debuted and they took out the heels? So heels were taking out heels. Made no sense. But Sonya debuted PFC and they beat up the heels Damage Control. So they out-heeled them, and because of that, Damage Control quietly turned into baby faces. But then they went into this weird babyface matchup and feud with Jade and Bianca, who were the top faces. So why turn Damage Control faces if they're going to take on faces? This is Hunter's booking. And you wonder why nobody really gets advanced in character trajectory. And why fans can't get behind anybody. Because the booking is so bad, they don't have a chance to get behind anybody. So my point is, remember when they debuted and they took out Damage Control and it was like, oh wow, Sonya's new heel faction is going to be something big. Here we are just a few months later, and Shayna and PFC are just losing simplistically. Middle of the ring, Io's got good. Now, great for Io. She should be racking up W. She's that damn good. But it's just, I just want to show you yet another example of how Hunter is throwing baloney at the wall, and if it sticks on a name, he's going to put it with the other piece of baloney wherever that stuck, and he's going to put people together like that. And that's how he's going to have winners and losers, and they're going to be beyond 50-50 booked. Even worse than 50-50. So at this point, can we all say, as if they were relevant anyway, but by now I think we can collectively say that the collective fusion here, whatever they are, PFC, they're done. They're done. In fact, before they stepped through that curtain last night, I forgot they were even on the roster. You talk about irrelevancy. It's sad. It's all you heard, right? Oh man, now that Hunter is in charge, people like Shayna Baszler are gonna be used correctly. Stop. You sold yourself on that idea, and Hunter's stepping back going, thanks. Man, they give me a lot more credit than I deserve. If you think you're gonna rekindle black and gold days, you gotta remember he had Dusty Rhodes, William Regal, and an ensemble. A complete mastermind ensemble with him. He just had to play the role of Papa H, give some hoorah speeches, give some approvals, and they went out there and did the deed. On the main roster, he doesn't have Dusty. William Regal is far detached in what he's doing in WWE to be a right-hand man of Hunter. He doesn't have that. So you get booking like this. PFC looking up at the lights, and I think career-wise as a group, that group is looking up at the lights, and they're not answering the count of 10. Hour number 1 then ends with Butch Dunne defeating Kofi Kingston via pinfall. Post-match, Kofi and Xavier argue because Xavier feels Kofi is thinking about everyone else but himself. So that's your hour 1. Gunther and Damien bickering. Damage Control beating PFC, and Butch Dunne defeating Kofi Kingston. That's it. Now, I wish I could tell you that, the Xavier, Kofi, whatever they got going, and whoever's turning on who, that's getting more fun. That was one of their better arguments last night, but it's just, I don't mind. I love long-term storytelling. We don't get enough of it. But if it's not done correctly and you're not really elevating at a good, consistent, amplified rate, then it's going to fall to the wayside. And I just feel like every week on a 2-hour show, no longer even 3 or 2 hours, it doesn't matter, for about 60 seconds, you get a little bit of Xavier Kofi. And then it's on to the next. And it's like, you got to build that better, man. Get us more pumped up. At this point, I'm losing interest in Xavier turning on Kofi. Some people want Kofi to turn on Xavier. That makes absolutely no sense. Kofi is a good dude. Kofi as a heel, stop it. I see that burning so fastly before it even ignites. This is Xavier's time to shine, and he's got to do it as a heel. But that's your first hour. I wish I could tell you, like, I'm sure people will spin this like Hunter's cooking, and what a first hour. Did you see Butch Dunne beat Kofi? Did you see Xavier and Kofi arguing? Oh, man, the turn's going to be massive. Man, Damien questioning the confidence level of Gunther. Man, what storytelling. You won't get that BS on this channel. I promise you guys. Always will promise you that. Hour number 2, we begin with Sethington Rollins and Bronson Reed. What do you guys think they're doing? What do you think? Come on, it's a Seth Bronson Reed segment. And you know that Hunter doesn't have the time of day to get creative. You know he's not going to give you something unique and special. So you know what Seth and Bronson were doing last night. To start hour number 2, Seth and Bronson were brawling. If you said brawling, you won the major award. You won the leg lamp. Fragile. Yes, they were brawling again last night. Hunter is cooking. This is just genius booking, obviously, right? Every week, you two brawl. The pull-apart brawls are supposed to be special. We're just seeing them all the time now. And it's not even just Bronson Reed. Every single segment Bronson Reed is in, it's a pull-apart brawl. It doesn't matter if it's Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins, James Ellsworth, Doink the Clown. It doesn't matter. There's going to be a pull-apart brawl, but it's several times throughout the show, right? I mean, this is just Hunter just does the brawl and the pull-apart brawl and the chaos nonstop on a loop. When it actually calls for it and it's supposed to feel next level special, it's not going to, because we see it all the time. I love chaos in pro wrestling. It has to be there. I love brawls. They have to be there. Pull apart brawls has to be a part of pro wrestling. Often. Not this often. Simmer it down, man. I mean, these are main event type of pull-apart brawls, and they're just throwing it to Sethington and Bronson. At some point, you're going to have to use creativity and go, you know what? Maybe we can't depend on just brawling all the time. You're going to have to get creative, man. So they brawled, and it was so goofy. This was the worst brawl of them all. Seth is like diving on Bronson, not even trying to like punch. At one point, he goes around the side because everyone's trying to break him up, and he gets smart, and he runs around the side, and he like shocked himself that he was able to get there, and so like he just looks at him and he starts throwing punches over his head. There was a second time where they were at the entrance So right outside the ring, about to go up the entranceway, but up against the barricade, Bronson is being held down by a bunch of dudes. Rollins just jumps over him. He has a clear path, and he decides to jump over him. He doesn't start throwing punches until he realizes that was stupid. So then he starts throwing these weak punches. I'm not into Seth Rollins, man, anymore. I don't know if there's a more truthful way or just a straight up candid way to say that. The sing-along song is nauseating to me. I don't think Seth knows what he is. It's an identity crisis, right? He doesn't really know what he is character-wise, and that shows. One of the best wrestlers in the world still to this day, I truly feel, is Sethington Rollins. Was it last year, actually? I think it was last year. We out of all the programming we saw, I think we named him the Amplified Dude of the Year. Like Seth Rollins like carried everything on his back, like Mox was doing for AEW at the time. So I give Seth all the credit in the world. I'm just saying on a personal standpoint, professionally speaking for him, I'm not feeling it. It just, when I see him wrestling, it's just so damn boring. So I don't know what's going on with Seth Rollins or my detachment from anything he's doing. But I will say this. Backstage, the best part of Monday Night Raw to that point, 75 minutes into the show, an hour and 15 minutes into the show, actually involved Seth Rollins. Sami Zayn was backstage. He walked up to Rollins and he asked him to be part of Team OG at Survivor Series. And Rollins was like, you got to be out of your mind. He like listened to Sami, but he's like, you got to be out of your mind. And he starts telling Rollins, like, after everything that he's done to you or me or XYZ, you know he's just using you. You know how this will end for everybody that associates with him. Like, it's still the same Roman Reigns. And just his explanation, everything just seemed it was just so good. It was one of those things where, okay, for the first time tonight, I can get into something. And Seth turns him down. Doesn't mean he's officially going to. You could see Owens added on to Team Solo, and you could see Cody Rhodes added on to Team OG. Probably going to be Cody and KO, unless they want to make that one-on-one at Survivor Series. They'll probably be just added on to these teams, War Games. But if not, you could see a Sethington Rollins. Or they would add in KO, and then Randy Orton shows up at Survivor Series. Some people are floating around CM Punk. I don't know how that exactly fits. But for this show, Seth Rollins, he turned it down. He does get a spoiler, earmuffs, guys. I'm not giving a full spoilers right now for next week's Raw that is taped. But I will give one spoiler. So for the next 10 seconds, earmuffs, mute. But Rollins does get jumped by the OG and saved by the faces. So that could be the setup to Rollins actually accepting. All right, hold on. Let's bring the crew back. That it was not earmuffed. That was muted. Or that was earmuffed, I should say. All right, you guys back? You can. All right, everybody unmuted. All right, that was your one spoiler. So, I mean, at that point, though, that was the best part of the night, and we were an hour and 15 minutes into it, and it was just a face-to-face backstage segment. We then go into where do we go from there, guys? Damian Priest defeating Ludwig Kaiser. That's what it was. Mr. Tiffy time. Ludwig. Damian beats Ludwig via South of Heaven pinfall. Whoa. Now I have to see Priest Gunther, the rematch at Survivor Series. Now, that did it, man. Now that he beat the right-hand man, the sidekick, now I gotta see it. Okay, now Hunter's cooking. He just had Damien beat Ludwig. Well, damn. Had I known Hunter was going to do that, now I'm sold. Karrion Kross, the best part of the night for BC was just Karrion Kross's performance yet again. Karrion is that dude, man. I really hope he gets stories and consideration and time and resource and just, even if it's just a piece of the rocket, he'll do the rest. Karrion Kross, man. Backstage, they come across The Miz and Karrion and Scarlett and AOP, and they want answers. Where are the Wyatts? Miz is like, just leave it alone, man. They let me go because I'm willing to change, and I think you should too. And Karrion's yelling, right? He's got that switch. He's trying to talk normal, but you can tell there's a little bit of madness to that normal. And any moment, he could switch that light switch to the up position, and you're going to get an amplified Karrion Kross. And that's what he got. So they ended up dragging Miz to the ring. And Karrion gets on the mic and he's demanding. He's like, something isn't adding up. Your story's not adding up. Where are the Wyatts? Lights go out. Wyatts are on the apron. I thought it was well done till that point. You could have gotten like a more special way to have the Wyatts show up. They just show up on the apron and the crowd's like, oh, that's it? We thought it was going to be like this build up to the Wyatts coming to the ring. Anyway, hey, if that's nitpicking, that's fine. I still liked everything for the most part in this segment up until them just showing up on the apron. Because I'm like, where do you go from there? Now they all have to brawl. Karrion's group cannot look weak right now. Wyatts definitely can't be laid out, obviously. They're the Wyatts, and they're still brand new. So you can't. Was the whole group going to get laid out? And that's what they did. They had The Miz hit Rowan with a chair, so it was all a setup. I like that, though. I don't know if I need to see Miz and Karrion, but this version of Karrion is the best we've seen yet, and I always knew it was in the dude. And this is just the tip of this is just a piece of what this dude can do. But Miz turns on the Wyatts, or he never was with the Wyatts, so it's not really turning. It was just a setup. Puts the steel chair to Rowan. Bo Dallas, Howdy, looks at Miz, laughs, looks back at Karrion and starts throwing Bo. So now the groups are going at one another. Miz is dropping Rowan with a steel chair while AOP and Karrion are beating the how you doing out of the rest of the Wyatts. And when it's said and done, the heels go up the rampway and the Wyatts are all laid out, guys, like knocked out. Dallas, Howdy is the only one to crawl to the bottom rope, and he's like laughing, and Karrion's like, I might have to do more to keep you down. You think? You beat him up for 12 seconds, bro. Like, come on, man. I mean, that was if you really have a feud, wouldn't you stomp him a little bit more? I mean, Rowan got the worst end of it, right? The steel chairs by Miz. Miz was the most ruthless. But the Wyatts were just laid out. I don't know how I feel about that. I understand, like, you know, you got to make Karrion and them look like badasses. And they did it in a way where Dallas isn't being helped. But, I mean, he was still laying down. It wasn't like he was on his feet laughing. He, like, crawled to the bottom rope, like, and then he started, like, kind of laughing. I see the, if not good, at least the okay in this. And then I see how that is just detrimental to the Wyatts. It's like, that laid the whole group out. But I don't know, man. I saw a lot of up until that point, that was the best part of the show. Karrion's performance, the setup by The Miz, at least that was like something, right? It was something where, like, even if subconsciously you lowered your hand with that remote in it, you ain't switching back to Monday Night Football, right? You're kind of like, all right, where are they going with this? And when you have that type of, even if it's subconscious suspense, it's suspense nonetheless. So up to that point, that was and that would end up being the only good part of the show, unfortunately, or decent part, whatever you want to call it. That was it, guys. Then we went into the main event, Jade and Bianca defeating Liv and Raquel to retain their titles. And then afterwards, I don't even understand any of this, and I don't think Hunter does either, and I don't think he cares. So Jade and Bianca defeat Liv and Raquel, retain their tag titles. Bianca pins Morgan off of KOD, for those keeping track. Again, Morgan, the title holder, pinned by tag title holder Bianca Belair, KOD. Post-match, Nia, Tiffany, Naomi, all from SmackDown, mind you, hit the ring with Raw's EO, and there's a brawl. And the show ends with the faces holding their hands up. Naomi, Jade, Bianca, and EO. And it looks like they're setting up like a Survivor Series match, maybe even like a War Games. I think that team would probably add in Rhea Ripley, back from her orbital bone fracture. She'll probably show up with a mask or something, but I do believe Rhea will show up there as the fifth member if they're going to do like a 5-on-5 War Games. And then for the ladies, you'd have Tiffany, Nia, Raquel, Liv, and probably Candy LeRae, even though I know that's not a big pick, and that's so odd. But she's the only one where she like tried to offer her services to Nia on SmackDown, right? Tiffany didn't want it, so they could make that like there's where the tension is. And Tiffany's pissed. If that's going to be your new right-hand woman, then I'm out. I'll even cash in on you. So maybe they're going to try to make something of Candice. They got rid of Indy, her tag team partner, right? Indy Hartwell is gone from WWE. So they wouldn't do that, I wouldn't think, unless they're going to make an attempt at doing something with Candy. But then again, losing to Bayley like she didn't put her in a good light. It's not a good way to start it off without Indy. But her coming back out to help Nia, maybe there's something in the works there. But so this is just... what I don't like about this up front is, first of all, that's not a finish to a 2-hour Monday Night Raw, guys. That's not. And I'm that's not a cliffhanger, man. Nobody's going, whoa, man, we got to watch next week. Did you see Liv get pinned by Bianca? And the biggest issue I have is the SmackDown ladies, man. Like, why are they there in gear as if they're part of Monday Night Raw showing up to work? Naomi is in full wrestling gear. Nia, Tiffany, they're all Adam Pearce is totally cool with it. This isn't a traditional 5-on-5 Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series match. Up to that point, it's not even a match at Survivor Series. So Adam Pearce would not allow this, you would think. It's a brand split. Adam Pearce doesn't care. Doesn't have... It's anarchy. There is no brand split. We just say that there is. But at our convenience, we bring anybody where we need them, right? That's why Randy showed up to Raw and wrestled for Gunther's Raw world title. It's the brand split? Nah, there's no brand split. I had to think twice. First of all, I was like, whoa, Tiffany and Nia from SmackDown. What the... But okay, they have a feud with a couple of them. I guess they're not even going to try to like explain, whatever. But then when Naomi was there, I was like, okay, this just got stupid. And I love Naomi. You guys know that. Love Naomi. But I was like, this just got really stupid. Like everybody, there would be no reason for Naomi to show up there, man. She's friends with Jade and Bianca Beasley. Okay. She had no business being out there on Friday just to beat up Candy LeRae. She had no business coming out in that match, let alone showing up to an entirely different brand. No, I'm not willing to overlook that because it comes across as absolutely stupid, nonsensical, and lazy. And then we fade to black and that's the show. And what am I supposed to think? Whoa, that doesn't make me need to or even want to tune in next week. There's so many issues with this company, man. Next week, again, is a taped show. And if you think it's going to get better as we get closer to the Christmas holiday, forget about it. It's only going to get worse. There's only going to get more tape shows. And I'm sure a lot of people will just go, hey, let's just get through it, guys, the holiday. Let's just get through it. And then Hunter will really start to cook again. Or I have a different option. Wonder if we don't just get through it. Wonder if we produce captivating, consistent, amplified television. Fun. Not just something you can enjoy, but be captivated by. That's what a television show should be, especially pro wrestling. A couple months before Christmas, which is what we started to do weeks ago, we shouldn't be going, oh, you know what, the shows are bad, but as the holidays get closer, they're going to get even worse. Let's just give Hunter some slack. Cut him some slack. It'll get better going into Rumble and WrestleMania season. I would hope so. It's WrestleMania season. You'd have to be a complete doofus to book WrestleMania season in an uneventful, confusing, schmozzery type of, wait a second, what am I saying? That's exactly what last year's WrestleMania turned out to be because of Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Oh, Hunter might be the one dude to somehow make a cluster F of WrestleMania season. Let's see if he does it again. That is your fully amplified, completely honest and truthful review of Monday Night Raw that you're gonna get. And of course, it comes right here on this channel from BC. Guys, until next time, and there will be that next time. Top guys, we are out. BC and the unit saying check you. Salute. Hold on. Time out. We ain't ending this yet. Shout out to Boycott. Boycott, I appreciate the super thanks, super chat, and yesterday's upload, man. That Montez. Thank you guys, man. That was straight fire to create for you guys, and I'm glad you guys really enjoyed it. So, Boycott on the super thanks, super chat. I appreciate the coffee, dude, and I completely agree on your Dawkins sentiments. That would be awesome. Dawkins joins this big faction. Dawkins is now thinking he's this big star, and Montez is like, what is this dude on? I like that. You could go a very intriguing route booking Dawkins like that. All right, guys. Salute. BC. Out.